I'm going to just say something real quick. Just real quick, okay? I don't know anything that's going on in the world. And I see these big major cities have a whole bunch of people with colorful flags that are not American flags marching around in the street chanting stuff like, "Oola, ka, ba, ka, 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 hey, ba, ba." Okay? Don't come to the South with that mess. Okay? Don't. You might be in Chicago and New York City. Don't come to the South with that mess. We will shoot you with the marshmallow gun type stuff, right? Like non-violent airsoft guns and stuff, like not real guns, not. But don't come down here with your. No, don't do that. You just keep that away, because that scares us white folk. You hear what I'm saying? We get a little bit. Bang. Sorry, dude.
We're going to be exploring some of the conflicting stories of the Israel-Hamas war and what that means and why some churches aren't talking about it. Today on The Truth Must Be Told. So stand by.
He's just ignorant. He doesn't know any better than to tell the truth.
It's the truth. I just want to report the truth. It'd be a nice change of pace, okay?
When in doubt, tell the truth.
Edward, I tried to tell the truth, and they kicked me off the air.
You can't handle the truth.
And now, speaking the truth, even though it hurts. Here's the host of The Truth Must Be Told, Sal Passos.
Hello, happy Saturday night to you folks. It is Saturday the 11th, 11/11/11/11/11. Welcome to the program. It is chilly down here in Alabama and raining. And I have been, again, fighting an illness. I don't know what is going on, but I'm here. I'm going to plow through and just do as the Lord has commanded me to do. Well, we are going through some really interesting times here in the news. Now, when this started back on October 7th, I really wanted to address it because Israel, which is this tiny little country, I mean, it's about the size, I think, of Lake Michigan in total area. It's very, very small. And yet this nation is hated by everybody. When Israel tries to do things, the United Nations tells them they can't do it. When they get attacked, they're told not to reciprocate or retaliate against the attack. When they do strike back, like this one of the things in Hamas, they said they were going to strike one of the cities in Gaza, and they warned the people. They dropped leaflets, and Hamas would not let these people leave. They would shoot them if they try to leave because they want victims. So when Israel did attack and civilians were killed, they used civilians as shields. I think you're going to hear see some videos today in regards to this, and there's conflict because the news media today just seems to side with Palestine, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that too, about Palestine and how that's not really a nation. And again, if I get bumped out of here for whatever reason, Passos1 on rumble.com, The Truth Must Be Told on rumble.com. Either one of those, you'll find me there. And if the video doesn't show up for whatever reason, you can always email me at thetruthmustbetold93@gmail.com. And we'll see what we can get with you. on. So I just want to remind you while we're here to go ahead and subscribe, like and subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Yeah, the more likes we get pushed further up. I actually did a search for something the other day, and I came up on a video. I was like, wow, okay, so I'm getting there. Thank you for all of the new subscribers that we have out there. And but I just want to explain a few things to you. So we stand with Israel, and it's important that the church stands with Israel. We can't be mamby-pamby about this. We have to stand with Israel, and we're going to go through biblical reasons why. But as you know, Gaza's been attacked. There's, the Hamas come out of Gaza. They're being supported by the Russians. They're being supported by Syria, Turkey, because these people want Israel dead. They want them gone. And it's really, really sad. I'm just going to bring you over to here. I've got some photos that I'd like to show you. And so here, they even signs out, and here's one of our roadsides says, "Gas the Jews." And this is horrible. They're a pro-Palestinian. Zionism is racism. Free Palestine. There's all kinds of garbage going on around here. Israel equals racism and genocide. Again, when Israel strikes back, they're called the enemy. They're called bad. And by the way, a lot of these protests that you're seeing happening here in the United States. Here, queer Jews for a free Palestine. Isn't that wonderful? So the LGBTQ alphabet group is getting involved with this as well. Again, protesting. Look at some of the signs here. Okay. I stand with Palestine. Stop Israel's war crimes in Gaza. Might I point out that Hamas was the one that attacked them first. They kidnapped people. They cut babies out of mothers' wombs. They beheaded people. It's just bad. It's just really bad. National demonstration for Palestine. I think this was in Washington. Okay. Here we've got Free Palestine. Again, it's all the same stuff. Free Palestine. Gaza end the siege. Stop bombing Gaza. Well, they threw missiles at Israel first. Stop funding the oppressors. Here again, this one was definitely Washington. The world stands with Palestine. Okay, and but we stand with Israel, and it's sad what's going on over there because, again, we've got, excuse me. Okay, so again, this is from New York, Palestine stuff, and these are Israelis that are mourning the death. But where do we see that in the news? We don't. We don't see this stuff in the news because they want to push an agenda that says Israel is bad, everybody else is good. I just want to bring up for you here, just give me 1 minute, because I want to talk a little bit about Israel and what it means, because there's what's happening out there, what's going on. I got a picture here somewhere. Just hang on 1 second. I'm going to bring this up. Okay. Here it is. I'm going to open this up here so you could see it. Waiting for it to load. Okay, here we go. Let me bring back over here to the screen. All right, so this is, see the tiny yellow sliver? That's Israel. That is the country that everybody hates. And all around it, these are Muslim countries that are surrounding it. Jordan, Syria, the closest ones, Iraq, Turkey, Saudi Arabia. All these people, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Yemen, Oman, Somalia, all of these people want to destroy this little country. Why? Why is Israel so hated? And what's sad is that pastors are being extremely silent about Israel. Extremely silent. They're quiet. A lot of ministers that I listen to online haven't even addressed this. Now, I have a question for you. You can leave it in the comments, please, down below. Has your church talked about Israel and end time prophecy and what it means? I'm really kind of curious. So if you could comment below, it would really be great. Have we? What's going on? What's going on? I've got an interesting video from Jan Markell. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. And if you don't know anything about Jan Markell, she's the president of Olive Tree Ministries. And I've been listening to her for years, and she is a wonderful lady in the Lord, Jewish lady, Jewish Christian, who has talked about end time prophecy for a long time. But I want you to listen to this, and we'll discuss it as it goes along.
I wrote an e-newsletter in the last couple of weeks, and it was titled "The Silence of the Shepherds," referring to some pastors. By the way, not all. And let me just summarize what I wrote. I'm not going to try to read it, take too long, but the silence of the shepherds, and I just commented, I said the headlines, the photos, the videos that have come out of the Middle East in the last month or so, well, they're not seeker sensitive, that they won't make church attendees feel good. They're talking about the sensitive situation, won't fit into any of the church growth strategy. It won't encourage anyone to become purpose-driven, and it could even cause divisiveness.
Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that this would cause divisiveness, division in the church? Why would that happen? I mean, why would this little Israel here, this little nation, is stirring up all these problems? Pastors don't want to lose. They have this thing called nickels and noses, and how many noses are in the seat and how many nickels they get. So if they start talking about end time prophecy and that how close we are to the rapture of the church and how close we are to the Great Tribulation, people may not bother coming anymore. Well, why should we go ahead with this building project? Why should we go ahead with this missions work? If the Lord's coming any day now, then maybe we should stop. And then they feed right into what 2 Peter talked about, that, in the last days, people are going to mock, say, where is the promise of his coming? For since our fathers fell asleep, he hasn't showed up. It's a fulfillment of Bible prophecy in and of itself. So the question is, why are they doing this? Well, it doesn't go to the church growth movement. They won't be able to build their congregation, because the truth is, when you start teaching the truth, people don't want to listen.
So I should not have been so shocked when I started getting some emails. Let me read one
listen to
short
this email.
here. I'm not going to give any names. She says, Jan, I was very dismayed that the church we attend did not even make mention of what's going on in Israel on Sunday, that would be October the 8th, nor did the topic arise that Wednesday night, though there were several mentions of the Houston Astros game.
Now I want to ask you again, did your church talk about it? About what happens in Israel and what's going on? Does your church teach end time prophecy? Leave a comment down below, please.
Well, I was kind of surprised to get a number of emails with that sentiment. I'll refer to those later. And you know what? Nobody can say that they didn't know what was going on in the month of October, because it was wall-to-wall coverage, all media outlets, day and night, and there were demonstrations going on around the world that were shocking. Some of the signs said, "Gas the Jews." Okay, the scenario could expand easily to an entire Middle East war, and some were anticipating World War III at hand. And again, we have new levels of evil on display. And yet the silence of the shepherds was deafening. Now, not all, thankfully not all. So if every church in North America perhaps were to have met back on the day after the carnage that we all saw on October the 7th, if that next day, if every denomination, evangelical or not, were to have met for special prayer, could an unspeakable disaster have been averted?
I want to ask you that. Did you guys talk about what's going on? Did you guys pray for the peace of Israel?
Remember, folks, and I try to make this point as often as I can, the church is grafted in to the Jewish olive tree. This is an appeal, and this hour will be an appeal as well to pastors to not keep silent when it comes to the truth. At the very least, the Bible tells us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, Psalm 122:6, and you know what? There's a blessing after that. They shall prosper who love thee, and that sounds like church growth would come automatically. The blessings of God would follow if we pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Now,
So, yeah, we do need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Absolutely. We need to pray for Israel. We need to pray that God will deliver them. But what we're seeing here is these people are satanically driven. They are, Satan wants to destroy Israel. He absolutely wants to destroy Israel. And why? Well, if you study Bible prophecy, you're going to see that Jesus is returning at the end of the Great Tribulation to set up his millennium reign. That's the millennium, the 1,000-year reign of Christ. Satan doesn't want him to rule over the Jews. He wants to destroy the Jews. He's been trying to destroy the Jews for years. And amazingly, this little tiny country out there in the Middle East and surrounded by all of these enemies, they're survived. In 1948, they became a nation. Overnight, they were there. Nobody wanted this land. Even who was it? It's a famous writer. I think he was either Samuel Clemens or one of those guys from the time said Israel is like a waste. It's like a dump. Nobody wants this place. But now that Israel is booming, they've come up with new ways of farming, of irrigation techniques. And the Bible talks about the deserts were going to bloom like a garden. And that's what's happening out there. A few years ago, I was able to get oranges from Israel, and they were the most tastiest, sweetest things I've ever got my hands on. Okay, I wish I can get them here. I can't. Okay, fruit from Israel. This was incredible. Okay, and now everybody wants that area. It's rich in oil. They just found out it's rich in oil, natural gas, water. They're the largest. They have excess water. They are the leader in salinization techniques. Okay, to change the salt water into fresh water, and they've got an abundance, and they actually export 20% of their water. Now, when you live in an area that's desert, like that area is, water is the key, more so than oil. You have to have water to survive. You can't drink oil. And some of you may argue with that, but you can't. But churches should be addressing this issue. We are the 1/3 of the Bible, about 1/3 of it is about prophecy. So why would a pastor ignore Bible prophecy? One, I think they're afraid of it. They're afraid because they don't know much about it. Two, I think that they're afraid they're going to lose their congregation because they may insult somebody. I told you I was in a church where it's told, well, we won't teach about the blood because it may make somebody feel uncomfortable. Somebody may get offended. Well, tough. I mean, the Word of God says it's good for preaching and teaching and for rebuking and for instruction in righteousness. Okay, so your pastor should be rebuking you out of the Bible. If you don't, if you're not sitting there, you're not squirming from time to time, then something was wrong. Because the Word of God needs to be preached, the Word, okay, in season and out of season. So we have to have pastors who are not going to fall by the wayside. But we have so many now. They're woke. They're into all kinds of stuff that they allow the alphabet group to come in, and this is not Christianity. Okay, Yet the news media only seems to be showing one side of this. They only show the support for Palestine and how bad the Israelis are for doing what they're doing. And the overwhelming support of Hamas and Palestinians are sickening. Now, Hamas launched its attack on Israel, and as usual, Israel comes under criticism for retaliating against that attack. That always happens. You look through history. Every time Israel was attacked and they retaliated, they were criticized for it. How could you do that? In fact, our government, our administration hates Israel. This is Obama 2.0, okay? They hate Israel, and they are going to do, they've already told Israel, yeah, we'll send you these bunker-busting bombs that you need, but you need to support humanitarian aid to Palestine. Catholic priest called Jesus a Palestinian. And that just enrages me. It enrages so many. Let me play this from Pastor Tom Hughes, Hope for Our Times Ministry. You can get him online. You download his app. Good stuff. But he's going to talk about where this thing, because Palestine is not a real place. It's not a nation. Okay, the Muslim people are descendants of Hagar's son. Okay, and the Bible said that he was going to be a wild man and his brothers would be against him. This is what we're looking at now. This is all from that side. Okay. So but listen to what Pastor Tom Hughes talks about in this, about what the Catholic priest said, and then he's going to talk about Palestine. So just check this out.
Bible. In fact, I just watched a spokesperson for the Catholic Church just the other day saying how the Catholic Church came first, and anybody who believes this is absolutely wrong. So we have this Catholic priest on there who says, number one, Jesus was a Palestinian. What a liar. Check this out. The word Palestine didn't even exist at the time of Jesus. It was a word that was invented by Hadrian, the Roman ruler, 135 AD, when he went to slaughter all of the Jews back then. He tried to, it didn't work. What did he do? He had the name of the area of Judea and Samaria, the whole area of Israel, he had to change to Palestine, actually Syria Palestina in Latin. It came from, he was looking to see, okay, who was the worst enemy that the Jews ever had? It was the Philistines. So he had his people say, put this into the modern language of Latin, and what did they come up with? Syria Palestina. So he named the area Palestine. It's a line name straight out of the pit of hell that came from the Roman Caesar to destroy the Jews. And this Catholic priest goes on and he says, oh, these Palestinians, Jesus was a Palestinian? The word didn't exist at the time of Christ. Didn't even exist until 135 AD in Latin. What a liar. And then he tries to say Jesus was taken because of the oppressors and the slaughters from those terrible Jews. No, it was Herod who went after the Jews to slaughter them. You stinking lousy priest. That's what that was. Herod went to slaughter the Jewish boys 2 years old and younger, just like Hamas did right now over in Israel. And this priest has the audacity and the lying lips to turn the story to say how bad those Jews are to protect themselves. And the Jews won't let the civilians out. You need to make room for the civilian Palestinians. The Jews have been trying to do that over in Israel. Tried to let them out. Egypt doesn't want them. Why don't you talk to the people in Egypt? They don't want them. Since you're so fond, Mr. Priest, of saying, how about, you're trying to say Jesus with his mom and dad, they fled down into Egypt. And we're saying, well, how about Egypt what if they opened up their doors to the Palestinians to be able to go through there and find safety in Egypt? No, that wasn't going to happen. Why? Because your story's all messed up. Because you're a liar and you don't know the facts, you don't know the history, you don't know the Bible, and you twist everything to lay guilt on people who are willing to stand with Israel. And then Hamas puts the children in the own Palestinian children in harm's way. Build rocket centers under hospitals and schools and houses. Shoots Palestinians as they're trying to get out of the way. Kills them if they're protesting against what Hamas is doing. And you blame Israel. You blame the Jews, and you say how awful anybody is that stands with Israel. That's disgusting. But that's the kind of theology that's going to come forth from the lips of someone who doesn't believe that the Bible is true. I don't care if you're Catholic or Protestant. That's the reality of it. You can't stand up and look at the truth. But
so, for a Christian to support the Palestinian people is disgusting. If you're a Christian and you hate the Jews, you better rethink your theology. Look, God told Abraham this, and this is very simple. Genesis 12, Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3 says this, "And now the Lord said to Abraham," or Abram at that time, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." That is a prophetic statement. In you all the families will be blessed, because he's talking about the Messiah that's to come and will be a blessing to the world because Jesus will die for people's sins. So, we need to stand with Israel. He said, "I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you." For those who bless Israel, God promises a blessing. For years, the United States supported Israel. Multiple times. Now, we're not. Oh, we give billions of dollars over to Ukraine, and Lord only knows where that money's going. Have you thought about that as a taxpayer? And your money's going into schools to teach evolution and get God out of the schools. You realize that's happening? And yet, what is going on in the world? What is going on? People are just ignoring what God has said. People want to destroy Israel. The Bible says that the whole world will be against Israel. The whole world. And now look what's happening here in America. We've got protests to support Palestine. We've got people saying gas the Jews. We've got people saying all of these things, and yet they want to kill Jews, behead Jews, do all these things, and nobody says anything. I can guarantee you, if somebody said we're gonna go out, and I'm saying if somebody said let's go out and kill Muslims, they would be arrested. The FBI would be investigating them and everything like that. But say we're going to kill the Jews, nobody says a word about it. We're going to persecute Christians, nobody says a word about it. Why? Number one, the Jews are God's people. He is their chosen people. Always has been, always will be. If you believe in replacement theology, get your head out your butt. Okay, I'm going to be very frank with you. All right, get your head out your butt. Replacement theology is from the pit of hell. That teaching that God has replaced Israel with the church. Not happening ever. They are his people. He has made an Abrahamic covenant with them that he will not break. And it's only on him to break it or not. The church was a mystery at the time in the Old Testament. The church didn't exist. They didn't know about the church. But it was prophesied that the Messiah would come. And when Jesus came, he established his church. The church, a group of believers who in the beginning were mostly Jews. And then the Gentiles were grafted in. We are, as Jan Markell said, we're grafted in to the tree, which is the Abrahamic covenant. We're grafted in. And we need to be thankful that we're grafted in, but that doesn't mean we have replaced Israel. We have not. And if you think we have, you're nuts. Okay, like I said, you got your head shoved up an orifice that shouldn't be in. And yet we have people saying the church is gonna, set up we've talked about that on this show. Excuse me, we've talked about it on this show. Dominionism, how the church is going to take over. The church is going to take over the world, and then Jesus will come. You got people that are amillennialists saying that the Great Tribulation and everything happened in 70 A.D. Not so. No, that means Jesus returned in 70 A.D. Then you've got other juggleheads that are saying, I'm getting angry, okay? I'm getting angry in my spirit because there's so many pastors out there that won't touch this. But what we are seeing right now with what's happening in Israel is leading to the Ezekiel 38 war. And I believe as Christians, we will be gone before that happens. Who knows? Maybe the rapture will be the catalyst that instigates it. Who knows? I don't know. God only knows. But all I'm saying is Jesus told us, as it was in the days of Noah, so it shall be before the coming of the Son of Man. And he listed all these things that are going to take place. Look at Matthew 24. It parallels book of Revelation. The tribulation was not meant for Christians. It's meant for the Jews. God will save the Jews. Satan hates that idea. And he's trying to destroy the Jews. Always has and will continue to do so. How do you think these people, what kind of person, when they kill their enemy, going to cut their hearts out or cut their stomachs out? Okay? Cut their heads off and stuff like it. This is satanic. A pregnant mother, you're going to cut the baby out. This stuff is happening over there. News media say, oh, it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. Talk to the people in the IDF, Israeli Defense Force. They'll tell you what's going on over there, and they can't get support. They can't get support. They're being told, no. You guys have to be nicer to the Palestinians. You have to help them. Ishmael, these are Ishmael's descendants that are hateful. If you look at the relationship with Ishmael and Abraham, nope, it's not good. It's not good. His Hagar, the Egyptian slave woman who gave birth to Ishmael from Abraham, she hated Isaac when he was born. There's even indications that there was abuse going on from Ishmael to Isaac. In other words, Ishmael was abusing Isaac. There's indications that because she hated Abraham so much and hated Isaac so much, that as they went and began to spread, okay, they're the people who would later become the Muslims and hate Israel with a passion. You watch, there's videos out there. I couldn't find them in time. I'm sorry. There's videos out there of them training. There was a training of a graduation of a kindergarten class, Hamas kindergarten class in Palestine, in Gaza, where they're dressed like soldiers, they have guns, and they're breaking into a Jewish home and slaughtering everybody in their kindergarten. This is what's being taught. to hate the Jews from a young age. There's a video of a little girl holding a knife. What are you going to do with that knife? I'm going to stab it into a Jew. This is the stuff that's happening out there today. And we as Christians need to stand up. We need to stand up, and we need to stand up for Israel. That's why we stand with Israel. Here, the truth must be told, we stand with Israel. And this is why I said this may get pulled. YouTube may yank this off of here. But I'm telling you, we've got to stand. As Christians, we have to stand for the truth. Now, what does this lead to as far as Bible prophecy is concerned? Again, we know that a war is going to take place. Ezekiel talked about a war that's going to take place where where Israel's going to burn the weapons. They're going to win that war. God's going to destroy the enemies that come against Israel. And they're going to burn the weapons for 7 years. We know that. Can't happen during the Great Tribulation because halfway through the tribulation, Antichrist seeks the Jews to kill them and wipe them all out. So when will this Ezekiel war take place? Don't know. I think it'll take place before the Great Tribulation. Will Christians be here to see the Ezekiel 38 war? Doubtful. But that's something we could argue about later on. If you have any questions, email me. We can discuss it. Or leave a comment below. I mean, I don't care either way. Haters going to hate. But we're leading up to the time. We are seeing the signs of the times accelerate in a rapid pace. More earthquakes and wars and things that are happening all over the world that Jesus said, these are the beginnings, these are the birth pains. This is going to happen before the tribulation comes. So, I just, look, people say, well, how do you know end time prophecy is true? Well, watch the news. Line it up with the Bible. All right, and all of this stuff, all right? And so, no, Israel is not the problem here. It's Satan's the problem. He wants to destroy Israel. And he's moving on. I told you, we discussed this before. Principalities and powers and rulers, okay, that we wrestle not against these, but against these principalities and rulers, against the spiritual wickedness in high places. And no doubt in my mind that in all of these nations, that there is demonic influence over Turkey, over Syria, over the people in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip, people in Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. There are demonic forces that are leading these countries to continue their hatred of this little, tiny yellow sliver that's Israel in there. And we need to stand up for the people of Israel. Now, the video I played at the beginning of this is, was kind of light about protesters screaming and all this stuff. But don't do it here in the South. Definitely not. But you got to understand that people, it is disturbing to see these people allowed to do this. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for that. But when you start threatening people's lives, destroy them, gas the Jews, Hitler was right, all of this stuff. Bad news. We stand with Israel here on The Truth Must Be Told. And I just wanted to touch base with you guys on that. All right, so again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to end it here. I've been yapping for about 40 minutes, and I'm getting tired. Look, keep us in prayer. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray for me and Lori that we continue to go ahead with what's going on. Again, my apologies for not being able to get show on. And again, today was just another one where I was feeling very, very sick. But keep praying for us, and we'll see you next time on The Truth Must Be Told. Bye-bye.